Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Anyway, your topic at the Bashas and High Courts ruling out or they by yes, say Niati and say and you want to send a few coming days, you know, special prosecutors over finally appeal with Supreme Court on that ruling out High Court at the by, you know, and say. And High Court to say special prosecutor office no emra any 2 million what the year adwuma no I had to say attorney general duplication bisa na say ya the cro until for the meantime I umbe settle case no was Supreme Court no attorney general and taking over all the cases as special prosecutor dealing with it until that will include the PPA at the end of course contract for sale at the end no investigating no NPA Mustafa Hamid name Crawford na or Moje almost 300 million Ghana cedis and one basem and you can say almighty can for that to secure salam I think and more bit cases are a count one and then was attorney general it take you over Ivan.
Yeah, I think Ghana for we say a landmark case, we say a whole lot of discussions across on TV regarding this whole OSP, the federal saying the Attorney General Bruhaha Akoso, and answer the agency crown. I think a lot of people I can hone some that my culture was back at University of Ghana those days and now Radio Universe. I made it quite clear when the office was set up because it was nothing but a useless creation because I didn't see the need, the essence, and the office of the special prosecutor. And what's now walking into the act now specific. No be capture say na upieba no be capture say this is an independent body. You see say it's a joke because there is nothing independence about the office of the special prosecutor. The reason in here Over 1992 constitution na the mother legal document ebo o man ho ban na atam ade e friend the prosecutorial power and prosecutorial authority of the state watam ni nyina gu adiem na wachekere na ode ama the attorney general. So that is an exclusive arena. Only the attorney general and or prosecute that on the behalf of government. So when all practicing there man different from the strict constitutional your friends arrangement, you know. So the office the attorney general now finding a way of, you know, diversifying insurance and other institutions that and be devil with a lot of activities and directly or indirectly over most of the minor criminal cases, you know, are automatically prosecuted by the police service. And now police in more prosecutorial department and so because the attorney general no entimi nko go so entimi nko ha and we yakowia obi bancho but police is everywhere. So today no court about minor criminal cases ni nyina no police and a prosecutor. And I'll come back and explain to you why I disagree with the judgment. Your friend is saying High Court in the buy, and I think he got it wrong with some of the points are not all can. And it's a fact to say when it comes to prosecution, the power of we are saying so the attorney general, but they can delegate and ensure say other institutions will do that. And prosecution, you know, police for yebi when it comes to minor criminal cases, and I'm sure you are aware. So nobody is contesting that particular fact. But my country's office no creative, it wasn't necessary. And then the High Court really, you know, affirm that long-standing conviction among forward. People are not saying it's not just about prosecuting or not prosecuting, but the crux of the argument is the unusefulness of the office. But among for anything to support it. So and there's a court to say, I'm going to take out prosecution there, then it comes to rationalize how unuseful the particular office has become. And you say, Office of the Special Prosecutor, cases of criminal prosecution in as for on time, don't find come Attorney General. As Attorney General, person prosecutor, then they need express authorization. That is where I disagree. Yeah, because the point is that so we have the Special Prosecutor Act now. The default position, apart from investigation, they also have the power to prosecute. And that because an act in it has attained a certain constitutional legitimacy. in the face of it being an act, parliament, more yeah. So that naturally becomes the default position of the office of the special prosecutor.
Okay.
But then, over the special prosecutor act now, or say special prosecutor for case, not our prosecutor, the attorney general no, I dissatisfied and I say can file for a null prosecute. I'll be discontinue the case. So what I say, that tells you say any independent. And the special prosecutor for case not or prosecutor, the attorney general can file for null prosecute to discontinue the case. What it means is that by default, the office of the special prosecutor can prosecute unless the otherwise happens. That's the logic I want you to get.
Okay.
The framers of the law no realize we are creating this agency, arming it with a certain prosecutorial, whether absolute or semi. They have that, but until the otherwise happens, they can. So the High Court seeking to reverse that, for me that is problematic. So it should be this case. So OSP cover case. Now Attorney General M.P.S. Obe prosecutor. They have that express authority to cut them. Say, hey, don't go for this case. You discontinue. But if nothing has happened, you allow them just like you have allowed the police. Because when the police are prosecuting criminal cases, they don't need express authorization and now written authorization from the police. It is something that has become a natural convention. Like it's an implied. There is something we call implied prosecutorial power or implied prosecutorial authority. You don't need to give it to him, but he has it unless the otherwise happen. For instance, waba show you see, there are things you do, and this our boss to no say show ya wo ye me person this portion we free man until that authority comes, that is the normal thing you do. So by default, and I said the act has constitutional legitimacy by the virtue of the fact that I go through parliament, I go through the process, you have to. And again, High Court, need to me to nullify the act, and that is not what the judge did.
Okay.
And the runner, your friends OSP, so can say on Thursday judicial review, a High Court need to me say or say act in the SS. No, so what's your rule? Now even more the actual judgment in Yamabontin there. There is no indication say High Court no can say anything wrong with the act. And now cut portions of the act. No, what he sought to do a interpretation. Or can say, and now say constitution, a bangi all prosecutorial powers and authority the ma agency, So yes, so call using the power nubia. I was say my authority, but why I defend say, and now say OSP ni so. Your first constitutional legitimacy, by default, na juma say on investigating prosecutor or prosecutor that's age, you can rather write to them. That is why the express authorization comes in to discontinue. That is why the act says you can file for null prosecute. So I don't know if you get the argument. Yeah, so special prosecutor argument and they say court no new kwan say obe render part of the act nullified. No, that is not what the court did. The court only gave a very purposive, restrictive interpretation to the constitution. Emma prosecutorial power to the AG. And now or say strictly until that is a strict interpretation of the law. But you see, you have to be very expansive in this particular regard, just to ensure flexibility and rationalization and also harmony among these institutions. And America say, you see, the special prosecutor office, are useless in a sense. Me start me catch say ya sesa prosecutorial powers in go bag him and I zipu na e ma age you cannot create any parallel institution that will compete the AG in terms of prosecutorial powers. You cannot create any parallel institution and call it your friend is saying special office or independent body. It is not independent because independent bodies, your AG, your friends, your electoral commission, your Shraj. These are they enjoy absolute independence in the face of the constitution because they source their authority from the constitution. We could have created a special prosecutor office by in a bid to let us share or rival the AG for prosecutorial powers. It is not possible until the constitution itself is amended to give that particular leeway. And the Abasana at the constitutional level, the AG and then the office of the special prosecutor and share that prosecutorial power and say bag ni be so na ye yibi na they mind the electoral commission they the office of the special prosecutor. So now they are at par, but until that is done, the office of the special prosecutor will remain in the shadow or remain under the umbrella of the AG.
Or the AG.
So the AG can order it around, can shut its operations, can maneuver and do everything. And the Obi Baba Antino Bakacho say office in independent. I wouldn't say comedy no because there is no independence about it. You understand?
Because Attorney General bet me catch us a case we meant to us there.
Exactly.
Then where lies your?
So that is why I disagree with the court. And say the court should have realized that provision. Say adena or no canon is already in the act. So they didn't need to emphasize it. And by default, no. Allow them and other institutions sourcing authority to prosecute from age, you know, police for that. So the special prosecutor can equally do the same thing. You understand? And it is a age between an officer can say, oh, case where ya police for a prosecutor or go so there state na nkasa we interest so nti yanko kwaje na yenye. Until that is done, what I say, and it's a special prosecutor also for case na na age ni wo. That particular way because the main fact is they can be given authorization by the AG to go ahead and prosecute, you know. It means that one way or the other they have prosecutorial power because today the AG ain't me your friends electoral commission power say uncle prosecute why because they don't have that particular mandate. But for the fact is the office of the special prosecutor naturally and by that constitutional legislative legitimacy no more per the act in that is their default position. They can prosecute. So if the AG will have to write to them in the absence of writing, you know, still that natural flow no must continue until the otherwise happens. You understand? So I think the ruling is very problematic, and I'm expecting even though Makacho the office of the special prosecutor Makacho is useless. But this is a constitutional legal argument and I make it. So yes, it's useless. And for me, so I've been one of the advocates at my office in the Guno because I am for Sobiama, so I can't borrow ya besin there. Now, office in the Assassin, Nipa na Ghana for you now, what GDA, what the Musa. The chef mission, the lion of your friends, anti-corruption. I'll bet me I know Ujani free catching her. Abrane Hoya hot. He left. And he came up with a lot of stuff. Now, Kisiaja Ben didn't have your friends at that particular your friends at gravitas, you know, to stand the heat in it and so forth. And amidst of the nothing has happened. But the office of the special prosecutor for the past 10 years in here, I enjoy prosecutorial powers and authority. No, on far beben court beben nifo. On far akoko kran court akoko nifo. Obati ane say recovery yakwa jiska wa ha sika no so hu de agifri no how much has been your friends are collected just assumptions na manfo keka nsam sa. So for the ordinary Ghanaian no people are unable to quantify the value they should place on the office of the special prosecutor considering how much resources the state has pumped into it. And now bet you say OSP so here bulletproof car. O bet you say assassination one so na kufa do kro be my no one assassinate no.
O do kro ti fi o ti nima.
O ti nima ko programs anu ko na masie bi o na mfa no ho. Na ono kra no bi entertain to be ka kire say who here bulletproof car because na judges class on them chroma say what I say. So I think that it has been comedy drama upon drama and it's the reason why it seems to say Ghana for nyina sorority at the office of the special prosecutor because omunhu so mfaso and I think they're going to court, you know. The Supreme Court will make pronouncement because issue, you know, already it is in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court and
I think so be the Supreme Court.
Supreme Court that omunya and sana we airco say omuni prosecutorial powers they need express authorization from the AG. So what if the AG give that express authorization? They don't even Makata said that authorization is an implied authorization. The AG doesn't need to write it because per the act of the special prosecutor no it's natural. That is what they do. So naturally, until otherwise happen, you know, they are supposed to prosecute. You understand? So for that one there, but we are expecting the Supreme Court to rule on this particular matter because it is only the Supreme Court that is clothed with power and authority to declare the act, you know, was done in the excess of the Constitution. And they can shut it down, declare it null and void. Until that is done, the act still stands. But interpretation, you know, now court judge, you know, are tweaking, you know. But until a reverse happen, you know, what the court has given today will continue to stand.
Yeah.
And every single prosecutorial will be electoral. Your friends said the OSP will be and Jeffrey Nism. Now, our prosecutorial authority cries so office in useless.
Yeah, useless.
Now I quite say Jataba yet to tune the singing a free and no. And the Pasabana also Jata about no be and I say, but we are what to cry. I'm for the chase you out because we are what I say. So I think that we need to harmonize these institutions. I don't want to see this sort of rivalry. That's for MacArthur said there is a solution to this. If we want to do proper prosecution of criminal cases, we do not need to set up many offices. Yeah, what you need is the political will and commitment. Let us resource the AG department. How many regions na I say? Now, 16. 6 and first one is about there were 16 regions. Yeah, the AG can be resourced to become so robust. We can even choose to go the American way. And your friends are all various states now. Attorney General announced for some we know be crowd to abandon as a phone, just to ensure say you represent the people and then as a phone. You will be empowered to take up issues of prosecution and so form. Because MacArthur said modern governance, you need templates where you try to baby as a kind. There is no guideline yet they do mine. Every of mine piano has to be contextualized. You look at your priorities, you look at your objective, you look at one kasa or domain no kwanya nema effa so a play out. Now with the design with template for a minor. And do you want to say copy America, me copy ube fail because the cultural underpinnings, the political understanding, level of literacy, enlightenment and as for are different from what they know. And you need to appreciate your context. Now we just know the design or template out of what minor. Anti-copy no yard also. You're making sure say near my office of the special prosecutor President Mahama are standing in. I can say they should allow it to stand. But I think that in terms of rule, no, define the rule man because now you better we are free in 7 days. And there's
all kind of arts and kasa. Also is to investigate and prosecute specific cases of alleged or suspected corruption and corruption related offenses, recover the proceeds of corruption and corruption related offenses, and to take steps to prevent corruption.
Yes.
No, prevent corruption.
And the act now can. It means that the special prosecutor the problem we have the wording of our laws. I am more confused than anything because all kinds of specific cases of political corruption as a corruption now.
And what state to cross politically exposed people.
Yes. So I know the day, you know, that is a large room. That is a very big room for the OSP to operate.
Yeah.
A very big room. And is this section 90? There is a particular section. Plea bargaining now, man for no. Oko special prosecutor act etimada I say. One of his core mandates is to do your friends a plea bargaining just to ensure that we recover money in as a form. Oh yeah, I think there and I'm this time round I don't want to do name calling this because Okasa watch it. As a person. Now what can I say? Maybe I will read that. So this time round I want us to focus on the flaws. I want these structures in not quite harmonizing just to make sure say as people know they pay. Is it about prosecution or is it about having multiple offices? Just like the special prosecutor officer has been there. You consono and also so almost they prosecute what I say. So I think that these are things that we need to harmonize. I am making sure say the objective is one, go after corrupt individuals, and we will do everything humanly possible within our means as a state just to ensure say we clip corruption and make it a high risk venture. Whoever that attempts to obey corruption will be demotivated by the fact that the consequences are spelled out in our law and the institutions are ready, stand armed and clock ready, just as Donald Trump or say the American army is clocked and ready. They are ready to push the trigger. The state must be armed, clock and get ready to push the trigger against anybody or Siki said or the minor Sika summoning as a form of na nyesa na be ya special prosecutor and AG kon and the way and the way court to as long as that misunderstanding and dragging on, a confronting a free day to operate, and I think that is not good for our democracy. So. Portions of the judgment I disagree. I also disagree with the special prosecutor part, or say we know because judicial review, High Court award that particular power to do that, and I think that is what they did. They one year say one set it aside and answer one nullify portions of the act which they don't have power to do. It is only the Supreme Court, and that is not what the judge said. But the judge in said. Special prosecutor, express authorization, and some of our prosecutors I disagree. There is an implied authorization already until otherwise is stated. So I think that we need to, the Supreme Court will have to normalize these things. So going forward, you know,
all right, and see me, I sure say near the hole. Yeah, law, no, may sure say Ivan a booma may say that yes, aba yam say ya ka say office na ka say useless no ye doso
ye da so gina ba bi
gina na na ma tina be do kura hu ano na ki say jabe
yes ya fan say bon samba kra so jabe ye we say pope wo fa say bon samba kra so give up ba ye no ntimi nya biem na pope wo fa say na benya kokodura akwa ye
are ya go bon samba
aso no de ye wo no tum bone ne ba ye ne ye wo no tum no
no so wabre
ono kwa so wabre ntimi nya ba ye bi ko anajutuo no wabre na pope wo fa say pope wo fa say na ba ye
o ba ba ye de na say ba yire ya na ba tina bi de wuzu de na say de nyame na obuafo
ancha na otwa lumba remes ma na
kwa no ba
obro em wase on resign ye nkofie obro.
But what I'm even looking at, and say for now, it says ruling we are but say cases in Ibebre or Honoma say until the matter is being determined at the Supreme Court. For now, no on your share, right?
Maybe say still or prosecute or your investigative power.
Into investigate.
So you can investigate. So you can for now not there. You can investigate. This ruling will not stand. This ruling. This ruling court to be but court appeal the judge will crash this ruling because because what it means that we need to collapse the office. The office when it comes to investigation, we have tons of investigative bodies. Investigative powers and mandate to do that. So what will be the essence? Because I can just investigation so I think that this ruling will not stand. And going forward, you know, we just look at the way of. So for now, no bet me and say, investigating the cases go now. Wama age, you know. And I say, here express authorization for now. So all that they have to do, the Attorney General have to write to them say, "Mama, authorization, go ahead and prosecute," and they can still do it. So any challenge.
Right, I think issues now about Fitianrano now also kakaba. Some of them that is very important and Ebekasawo. Enrana Yanantia say NPP for a full press conference and Yananabi should that why you could no address a press conference on Tiasie say I reminded Baba Mando now what Tiasie say a chia bronye. Na said ye NDC aban ye no was so on passum yo de bebu man and we almost mo ma ban we yasum dwe mani fa bu man no we na na bi nsem an ro kan ye e press conference na say MPP asem no o kan bebre a obeti nchan a obakasa bia o wa sheda to odi party ni so and but my culture say we all have a vested interest in an entity called MPP. Or whether you like it or not, it is the a viable alternative as it stands now. In absence of everything, you know, they can form an alternative government. Or what I say, and you know, it is in our own interest. So the party will appear rational. The party will be in good standing. Individuals leading the party, you know, or appear to espouse certain high-level confidence. Sabaya, so BBC na say aban fufuro bi ba, you be convinced and nipa we mobile a group of people asabi nim de nyansa wo fear you can sleep and hand over or mind to them. But consistently, no, if you don't see that, if you don't feel that, na de omo ye nyina ye arrogance, belligerence, kasafine, nema krono mo ye ya oma Ghana for pama omo no, they are doing it times two. Because you see, that be a catcher man for what people don't see. They say
Pama Ghana for Pama Kufuor ni nyina wasn't so much of bad governance. No. It was so much about the arrogance of power. Arrogance. And that filthy language in who use at the time Ghanaians expect something to be done. Now no me call platform business and I was trying to explain say President Mahama call him say the cabinet should meet an emergency in the face of the emerging rising prices at the global stage. It's a good indication of a president who is privy to the plight of the people and is prepared at any point in time to intervene. How much is taken or your friends say remove that is inconsequential, but the act alone is symbolic. In governance space, the president is watching the space. He's endearing himself to the plight of the people at any point in time. I am your leader. I am here with you. Let's go. Where it is necessary to cushion, I will cushion you, so that people will be convinced they are moving through this dangerous terrain with their government. The government is not insensitive. They are not suffering while the government is, or your friends a party. And now Kofa Ilevia Ghana for Suhuno and a cake. I would do Ghana for na yediasa, nan cocrafo in a stage so a buatopan, a bra Ghana for and near bra more canyons and some trabain. So being sensitive is a key thing. But sa element when you still find them in the MPP, even in opposition. This is a party I want Abraham boy and he so filthy matter why they lost. So the language must be harmonized. You should be speaking in the tone. Ghana nibe musa sabi what's your bibi nimdiaba fierce say. But okwase sasa microphone kutu ya. Omo kasa boom be jina stage so NDC ya fans say 2028 ya be your movie. Now when I saw the 2 months 2020 power no crowd when sankan ye. You are not thinking about how I fix your mind up. You are thinking about retribution. Yeah, nyansa be na wasa de okokan say penny person. Because the primary objective of a political party in opposition is to be thinking about how to capture political power, not how to exact retribution from your political opponent. Because you need to sell a message, a reasonable message for people to buy first before bring your power. No, when your power we not the other buyer. But if you can do a press conference, more general secretary, my kind of be on take us out also threatening you be. Oh, you know, platforms are now say NDC back. I am funny. I think that the elders of the party will have to intervene because the NPP is sinking. To be very honest with you, because this is no time to be doing. And I buy a baby say now no matter so we say on bus and medium fee on by investigating on by say just absolute crap. Focus on delivering on what you have to offer as an alternative. But now no me call Alaska show na me catch and say over Ghana CCI a political party some time ago I did me join a research team for a friends son foreign firm they do it for private kind of stuff, so the details of it because of NDA you can't share. But the thing is that the conclusive part I made to share with you is there is no opposition party that has ever won election in Ghana. No. With that statement, no opposition party has ever won political power in Ghana. What happens is the reverse. And this is it. It is always the incumbent that will drop power for a take. Always be able to say abide be lose power be na power no na to atwene. Na your opposition ababeje. So when that power is dropped, opposition we are prepared, we are close when say me gina ha me phone here me drop it to format na baby a producer it ni baby a oti when
me ben wo channel
so when abefa so when we opposition now we are close so you must always be ready, and being ready nature say you should be, you do everything but until some drop you can't imagine. So power is always dropped. And abain bia obe lose power bia no ono na wanye ne niema ye and wa drop power no, but you as an opposition you must also be ready and stand prepared. That is why you picking the phone will not be on my weakness but should be on your strength, because wetimi aben ha obi frechire ba befa because e bia make say kwa bia wugina phone so di nkomo ne na say na wani kura da baabi but the gina chire no they have their eyes on the ball. They can run and come and pick it even though you're close.
Yeah.
So these are lessons that young people need to learn. That's what I'm saying, sir. They need to hire a consultancy firm that will teach them about the modern trend of politics. Saturday politics 1990 and I had the free her and nano metise almost some quatebu almost some more yet. Your friend says, I cocoa we no. I tell you, no one is a cocoa or more dear by your bro. And I'm so much more cocoa as I'm now. Nippon will care, and I say, hey, you're no cocoa, you're the abro anyway. I'm up with Pega bro. I didn't go to some so proud, you know how I want to say. Nippon or corner, or meaning who said, Terry now, can you be a cocoa or a bro? So you need to speak to what the people want to hear. I don't know yet cocoa so and yes say Nippon or Aaron and fan who because no cocoa. What does it? So one who sa near my way ya. Obey no more ye did this Nippon or more kind. Say ya arrest you be an arrest you. Let's say the police in the crime near my ye. And I say, let's say, what time I'm on my form, should this be the language? Should this be the tone? Because don't forget, at some point, at Cromano, you cried and near police woman of Fanny Powell. Not among for Gane, yes, a Manasi Gane, a fair Pokian and as a form. Everybody. At some point, they were what I would them be about 2 hours matching. A branch is here for the bongo ideas and as for a cracket to away than a dem, yes, or try deal social media. And name or see it in the firm, Utia a horrific. Yes, maybe a airport. Yes, I want my player to a national security when you or Bebesia, one and ma, yet me question on the idea. Oh, Samuel when you now so people did not do press conference. And you think this emotional shouting hallelujah choruses will do what? Or turn things around? No. We all want the police to use due process. Because my character say if you are not careful, you use the police to, give oxygen of publicity to some of these idiots. Because over there, so now you can't, now body panicking. Now these are idiots who don't even deserve publicity. What I say? Yeah. So police is going for so these are some of the people. Don't give them what they want. Because there was the last time I brought you that daily graphic and was when you say in Black Maria and say look at this nonsense. As I did give it to me their Trojans, I said you don't need to give publicity to some of these idiots. Or no, that is their world. They thrive well, they grow well in that particular world of nonsense. And so when you're a government agency institution, now when you're careful, you'll be driven into this world of idiocy. And you end up using their tools to highlight them. Because I don't know what children look police station because that is their work. Now, yeah, will be that got them that I watch children now so no questions. So because that can be a feature. So my principle is quite simple. Some of these people, the police is only giving them the oxygen of publicity which they do not deserve. You should find a way of dealing with them. Then as a forum, and because some of them kind of nyansa be any friends who may you know, or nyansa same biaka, and then as a forum. I think there are equally important stuff. Police will have to now breakum. Yeah, your crew. Footballers, your mokobo mobile. Yakobo Abrantie tour. Ya Yachina Dibia. A conform Mokuma can send him Yansa. Now Yaba Robbie and your friends say footballers bus. Our footballer no could be any okobo. But or call bank or discussion about man answer. Just what you say, a conform Yansa Okro, and I did some crying. I confirm can send him dancer. Now, football or not a bass in our ball. Ah, their crowd should be a just in as a for no. Then I'll quack. So you see, now no matter say as a table, so Momo vendor be a quack attack and then as a form. Yeah, it's and baby, now Sunday. Baby, when you see, I'm about breaking Chelsea for 2 no more Kumubino. The following day, Monday, there was a robbery there, the same spot. And I say, Yache, a mumu too. What I say? So, yeah, was security issues, baby. I think that the police will have to avail their mind. This jump over idiots, should not be given any public attention. They should find a way of dealing with them under the scenes. Money to cram will be granting. I think that is what we need to do. So for me, the MPP will have to change their style. Maybe this time round, Papa, your friend is saying, Nyaho. and co should be able to come on board. No mo make sure say nyansa sem no mo ka kire omo when they were in power no mo ntie no ebia this time around they will listen because Ghana no our power arrogance nti nipa ka nyansa sem kire awonte by the very moment you lose power na wadwe ba fi sa na tie the very moment at 2 minutes ba benya unsa wadwe ne sa wote soro nipa ka nyansa sem kire nipa wo nim na no akwa no frɛ no kromfa kokoti ni sa gibi sa na onto sa power na be free ni sam ansa na tenani so maybe this time round no kan obetie but you 2 minutes ya just say betie nipa at that time na you be engage solicit opinion ne ideas in the way ebia nka you betimi aye neema emma power no dropping free ensam no bi ma mefa but then be drop wie
ansa na ya gena ye
na you ni swati wan to be a be 8 years on fraud na be he na fe no ba be fraud I think so to kwan ko China fe no aba because of arrogance na kasisem no onhu okura because the dia sesa we need to tone down.
All right, yeah, forward there no a chat to government cut forward cost absorb 2 cedi I say diesel a 2 cedi and 0.36 or petrol so GPRTU has suspended the intentions and come to a yellow refame no.
Yeah. And Americano, some of these things, you know, how much was taken, no, not a consequential effect be in a larger governance space because so diesel 2 cedis is huge, but petrol amount for using the no, I say 0.3, so one 30 pesos and for option the sacks, I say where the impact be have anyway, but I symbolic. I mean that is the part I want Ghanaians to understand because already, no. This pricing now amount for our outside, you know, that is not what we are paying. The reason is that the dollar has been tamed. Naturally, no, Ghanaian has been cushioned already. Because at the time, and I year 2021, 22, no, now at the international stage, you know, not barrel, no, I think that it was not even close to where it is today.
No, $900 there.
So, $900. It means that the management of the dollar alone, no, are bringing cushion to your friends at the pricing, and for the president to go ahead to say, may take certain interventions, however small, however insignificant it may appear in terms of monetary value, no, a very symbolic, a communicator say the government is in with the people. I see your plight, I understand your plight, I am doing something about it just to ensure say we mitigate it for you to have that symbolic awareness say your government is with you in these difficult times. Whatever it is, I am with you on the way. I am making sure say you navigate it through the storm because we are government not over here insensitive to the plight of the people, and then you jump over being a government, you become something else. And anya hwe kura no sa insensitivity no is something fresh on the minds of Ghanaians because of what Akufo-Addo government took Ghanaians through for 8 good years in the face of Ukraine-Russia war. Now COVID amount for Emma pay cut and then for amount for Emma excesses of we no na the taxes in there so the justification was that Ukraine-Russia war. Say I'm not say Ukraine-Russia war say so but why is the government doing the reverse instead of so impose taxes, why are they cutting? Because Ghana also is a net importer of oil, and in as much as we are paying high, we are also selling to make money. So the windfall, as government, you should find a way of balancing it. Ghana for being relief be, and that is governance 101. That is why I'm saying, sir, the coming back of President Mahama, are you well prepared? You will not get everything to go because he's not an angel. The last number can we share who say Atabu Bonechi and as a Wednesday Bonechi, don't expect him to make a mistake. But as long as he remains human, definitely there are bound to be mistakes in answer for. But it's not just about the mistakes. It is about how you respond to those when Abraba boy, let's say you should not be afraid to fail. Because failure is an incentive and a growth. But what are some to we are said are not by a dying a bad so be ye. But as some not to the ability to rise again from that fall no I'll bet me now when so move on no and the church say indeed you are ready, you have the competence to face life whichever way, whichever form. And I think that what is the demonstration here? So I think that there are a lot of debate going on. Sikanu Sadia, amount to Nusadia, diesel, 2 cities, and yard ketwa. Yes, petrol na a honor sem no one, but yeah, I think that is symbolic because already cushion, you know, and lie in this 30%, but a lie in the overall management of the city. I am so I'm my way. I don't kwa for expected and the petrol saying most of the fuel stations in the price no there seems to be some sort of a disparity. Ko a binum at 12.99, a be at 13.99 and as a form. Yeah. So far, I'm 15. The uncle a bit more drop, but on the way no more a ton way, no. I'm yet to see 15 actually. So I think that is good. Such interventions now you good communicate a lot. It's not just about how much, but it's about the government, you know. Overall, know how ready they are to cushion and be with the people. Now, I think that it's a demonstration of that willingness on the part of the president to demonstrate, say, or you're very sensitive to the plight of the people. Whenever challenges emerges, and they will find a way of address. This is the sort of things Ghana for, and I think that it's good saying, you know, going forward, you know, the war now air cost will be mitigated because they say we are so at that Donald Trump and some like toy.
Your pen or day
you'll be asking to country in Chile. They say, golf, no, say, your friends say, fuel now could over the Persian Gulf, no, ye. Now, Bedru, sir, your friend is saying, Strait of Hormuz, Hona, answer na be Pierre from the Arabian Sea, from the your friends say Gulf of Oman to the Arabian Sea in a Honor, my lay blockade, no. Until Obian will come. But they will allow vessels to pass through, but you run for no moment or moon coming as a foreign. And
also the other doors.
Almost the other doors, so what they call Russia and as a foreign or China. And it's some way, I think that sometimes you see, war itself has certain principles. Yeah. The freedom of navigation for sea, there is a reason for it. Yeah. So now, no, obi frame call platform. We say, your friend say, omo ye debate and omo kofa akwabe so expert. And I omo be saying about Ukraine, Russia, war. Oh, it's nice. Sir, Strait of Hormuz, you know, say wait for no top barrier or high. Yeah, as omo jeje ombenya sika na city. O kan nsem nyina area na me say okay fine. What's the barrier anyway? Now say you run as a country, cause or told because America be can't talk. So o shape no come away from Hona over fast one out there because maybe I want more con obi nsu territory and the back so chateau or na say obi anko baby because from there you go to the Gulf of Oman for then you move to the Arabian Sea. Or might be so how monsono they can also set a toe. So you can say so that justification cannot be rationalized. Or what as a American but when you engage in this sort of economic terrorism, you take hostage. Or being super taking hostage. Because quite the Strait of Malacca, Iowa, the South China Sea side Honswa. Or being super to make a block. There is a reason why I can say when it comes to navigation on the sea. It should be free, no matter what. But the very moment that people begin to set barriers and say, so I think these are some of the things that we need to do just to ensure say ntokwane na ehu hia ane de man kan meboa yenye na omunye no muntwa so na your friend saying the global economy no and return it no we are honton na asem because fuel prices na Ghana nko awo baby makacho say the entire compared to Ukraine Russia war na enye ne say this is a global commodity. Oil prices is set somewhere where at the Ukraine Russia war there be another commodity. Yes, a bit serious, a bit wheat. Now wheat no does na to feel. Oh, I think that some of these things, you know, we need to.
Yeah, all right. Just in a minute, we can professional since na free primary health care no. And conference we can 38.2 for say duplication of the national health insurance. Free primary health care, do we need it or we have it already?
Ignorance. Enough we be pro. Or say it's the same as national health insurance.
National health insurance.
No. Yeah, primary health care. Preventive care. Preventive care. Preventive care is a national health insurance. No, yare na ako. Na meti we hwinya me da kasa be koji national insurance aye we. So we focus on preventive care. Once ya kase ya tenase ama ya de ni siwie and sana. So for instance ade ba ko edi manya pa aye cervical cancer.
Yes.
So cervical cancer no ubehuru na nipa na nya cancer na wie afi na akwaje treatment that you need national health as to whether it cover or not. But when you kase yeah baba yeah screening am oba bia at this age just to check say the symptoms na actually say wanya or not no symptoms no ho predisposing your friends saying predisposing factors no ho are you at a risk na say for bema at a certain age prostate cancer. Are you at a risk? So, we are subjecting you to this screening and for just to ensure say won't go do a stage yare and some wako hospital. Hypertension you taking away who say when you know the stage I away hypertensive. So you are not a patient. Primary health care, no, you are not a patient.
But NHIS, you are a patient.
You are a patient seeking care.
Okay.
Now what sorry now because we or national health you must be sick, present a card and someone go to then na belly near chia. But we not just to ensure that obia on yare and the primary health care target too. So because a duplication and ignorance is bliss. And sometimes if you choose to advertise it, it becomes idiocy.
Simple.
Oh yes. Ignorance bliss. We need now kind of for instance, utifie na obabi assembly atoba. Now we can't say maybe I will bow and also when near but because you are ignorant about what is happening at home. The very moment you hear we mood best but what TV not still not to say oh yeah I don't forget to say we need answer.
All right, so the me sure say explanation Ivan Diama you cry the Kelly assembly na because so unyare amfa insurance nyehwe anameboa
preventive care okay among for and take steps just to ensure say as most part about health promotion. Health promotion no nema obeya so so President Mahama Kasembi Enra that is an integral part of the primary health care or say so for adwuma ba na say your friend say ade asan menko bisa wo yere say wo banku wo he ye tea nanom so health promotion is a critical component of the primary health care.
Okay.
And even education itself, you know, are a part of it. So you can primary health care and yes, you copy nura bobi and say say education, health education is the most prominent component of primary health care because I geared toward preventive care. And when you when you that is where the various therapeutic regimens are coming in, whether you are going for this care. But this time, no. Geared toward preventive. Enyansi and I didn't crowd her. Avena boba or your barber say ordinance can enough for who say a jockey to wear bidium a young stage be. So you take preventive measures just to ensure say at that early stage, you know, you do your friends a surgery to take it out or you see what is actually in the breast. Say by you could do a stage your friends a patient I feel na be kolebu am ya kwakotwa breast back on na breast cancer no dey ehunu say your breast back on that your friends a cancer na nkasa wo affinity for your friends as breast cells no and it can quickly spread to the other. That is why I come most of the surgical way na you twa way ya be too for some you twa back no so free
now I am breastless.
Yeah, because the tendency because of the cells involved. Okay. The affinity is very high and cervical way so I think say they will do there is a way be on your friend a pap smear when it comes to this your friend cervical way now test more running just to ensure say we are exposed and with those kind of ways. So these are measures that one day we have to take time and drive deeper into it. For propagandists, they allow them to.
Okay,
yeah, I think I reflected the state. Your friend is saying institutions, you know, a woman, and over the years, you know, I think a more quite fast or to talk money manner, and I reflect it in this particular manner because deals, you know, as to whether compulsory amount for and say another thing, because for our institution to be able to be effective, you know, it will depend on reviewing as for a fast now by force cross say obia auto nyumbia no automatically we can't music and one there are split. I think say more gambro and more
music
so it depended on the association, you know, kwanya the standing and some of these your friends and sabon what I know is that sometimes no yeah omo kwa dodo na no obedo koma abusia no na omo to kakra bi din e wodwam I'm hoping say bi asa na wait here e bi omo kobo
100 cities no
wodwam na e de mu eduru no ebi omo koma akunafo ana say omo koma ani kuna na say bi anamba. That is what I'm tempted to believe because very weird say the whole institution back on now say about 100 Ghana cedis. It's funny but you see I think say a chira de ba ko pese ade ba ko ya pa ye music ye fence any movie industry no obi a wo bia nyini koduru wa bia na wa dance resrefo Amunyina nipa no in their state a oye no hwea enye no dem be na ya flyer na to social media jijiska sa na man ahomte obi a wagidin abo obra sa sometimes no nipa no may not have options. Yes beginning you know Ghana has started here na man for use sa nkrofo we ya omo so sika fa ni sika omo nya bia mfirim akwa say old place no mo ball kotoko na house of folk dey na say for no ene dodo na ati either UK or America onko oti shop turn nema obi they are working to survive because ball no mo boy no omo enya mfaso amfirim kwa nkrofo na didi omo ho
that's the word
ko what na say player bit Chastela wo he dombo te na wo he talent pa na sa nkrofo e wa na wo he baby omutimi kokoduru ya what why you only sympathize with the person onya nipa obetime gire na chi ya ebia nka Chastela nka oni ha ebia nka dombo te na other place ko mu ni ha but ebia niam ba kwa na mieru bia nko ya benyo nipa na odi wachi sa ono na eboa wo no ono anso na sign ball form because onam hu didi nsa na ya footballers ya na kwakwaye enti na obi anya ya na wakotena brochire because he abrabo a tetefo no boy na enne onko na obi a footballer wa bobo agidinya bakwakonam shop bi wo UK baby ona na oyi ne mama wo obakọ no obi security obi dan ya no onko musician bi a minim no crowd e say oton aye wa wo say US o baby ni na say for no obi ton san you see e basa ebu amanfo abam so I think that some of these things na yen structure no say obi ye movie a some of these institutions be effective sikana nipa no je no na se yabati bi ato and say even within the private sector and no senate no na se for no yabati mi aye find a way of these people because I know say private sector they are supposed to but I say sa one man show one man we no mo ye no so she be na wo ha nipa no ye movie no nya contractor obetu ya sa sika no bi ato ba bi say be ya dabi na question is say Senate na nkasa kraji usika brabo papa bai no mo de kobo Senate dan ya minimum e wa around the nyina matontontonton ni nyina na no me call your friend saying was it Sakumo Estate Junction ho baby omo dan ya mo ho nyina nko matonton dan ni nyina ma manfo Senate na nkasa ne portfolio ni na se for basa na no he de see ya nko mo kotonton dan ni na se for sika no mo je no kwan bai e no mfa so mo manage and I think the President Mahama during the campaign can say bia na I support it very well and I think that this time around they need to work on it. Senate na man for your contribution meant after 20 years and after 15 years the person should be able to assess it. Now we are na busan because there is no guarantee so be an retirement. Because when we are near ye dinner as for and we do 40 and we be one no. Oh yes, enti you can say the panonko retirement
that's it
and sana wakwaje ne senate benefit onipa no bedi hia wu na na busuafo na ebe kon ono no way no there or you make a contribution you know when you some fast I think that there should be a way after 15 years after 10 years in as for no if you want to assess part of your way as I was saka na at least go to near na utimi di ye na as for na anya sa mfaso bia ni sa near way so I think we need to humanize some of these things just to ensure say Senate contribution after 10 years after we no certain percentage you have obetimi assess na wo dey your own na teacher ni ono no or chara ordinary salary nyina free near ma boso oje bia 500 Ghana na 200 Ghana no ya na the Senate ya say just okọ pension na obetimi anyina duru sa pension age ni mpodi ohia na adwendwe bekunu okwam ansa na waduru obawie na sika na obi na kwakwaje I think we need to be very proactive na yehu sa anema we nyina are symptoms of a society that has largely failed. Symptoms of a society that remain unplanned, that remain your friends are disjointed. And yet, nothing yet to do near my year. I think that we will be able to address some of these things. We will not have a musician about that TV. So, we now will be a my movie for 30 years. Now, I'm told that President Mahama is taking care of almost all of them.
All of them. Agent ones in your show.
Which shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
You understand? Actually, sir, what I say, we need to find a way of, structuring these things in such a way, say, Nipano or talent. Like I say, a mind teacher, no, and you'll be a school about degree in Kwao, or be a comedy, and now US are one of the industry booming comedy. Because of depression and so forth, we comedians are billionaires in America today. So these are areas that we can also look at and make sure, say, we expand it. But to expand it, you need to let people know, say, a lucrative. Nipana ya intellectual property, no. Yababo ho bayamano. Movie no be kwa ya. The right a woman say, kwana ya faso Nipana yensi siri no. State new role ne say in terms of promotion and as from the TV stations, no. Kwana ya faso amonso no. Bet me have access to some of these things. Now you're in such a way, say people within will become a beneficiary and as for them. You will live in a state will be a you so be a and Nipana budgeting. Nipana budgeting no nishe. And you see, over popular now with nishe. And most of the radio station and as for them, sometimes I'm for high people to stage be, but one kasan winyan. So there is a gap between who you are and what people see you to be. If you are not careful, you use drug to bridge the difference. That is why most of these so-called celebrities abuse drugs, because you are here. People perceive you to be here. So there is a wide gap. You're more, but wow, so you need to do something to bridge the gap. So you lose reality. You push yourself into a world of illusion. That is why majority of the people do drugs, because just to bridge the gap. And that's for then obi basho hang car DV boho. We are not the stress and then as for that is what they are doing. You understand? Obi nyam talk obi can picture on social media and post to just to bridge that particular gap. The perception is that he's rich, but in reality he's not. But he has to do something just to. You do a whole lot of nasty stuff. I think we need to structure this whole space just to ensure that things work well.
Yamene yambuafo.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.